Deep in Germany's Eiffel Forest, the Nürburgring is closed. The gates are supposed to be locked, and yet 20 GR3 cars are waiting in the rain.
James, this is not a normal race meeting. There are no officials, no teams, and no permission. Only pride, cryptocurrency prize money, and a very expensive collection of cars whose owners believe they are somewhere else.
The rain is extraordinary. It is hammering the Nordschleife in darkness, turning 20.8 kilometers of blind crests, compressions and barriers into something almost unknowable.
And Andrew starts last in the Canadian Subaru BRZ. Wet tires, rear-wheel drive, and a promise that tonight he will prove he is not merely quick when conditions are comfortable.
The rolling start is released, and the Underground Night League is underway at the Green Hell. Andrew is already moving. One car, then another. The BRZ searching for strips of tarmac that are not completely drowned.
The first problem is visibility. In clean air, the headlights find the road. Behind another car, the spray becomes a white wall, and every braking marker disappears.
And look at the standing water. Headlights reflected from the surface, spray hanging between the trees, and Andrew still committing to the outside line.
Andrew, bring the car back. That is not a suggestion. The tracker says Nürburg, and the owners have begun asking questions.
He's gaining because he trusts the wet tires, James. But trust is not the same as grip. On a circuit this long, one patch can hold water while the next is merely damp.
From 20th into the middle of the pack already. This is not cautious survival. Andrew is attacking a flooded Nordschleife as though the darkness has offended him personally.
The BRZ helps him change direction, but rear-wheel drive demands discipline on exit. Too much throttle and the rear tires climb onto the water rather than cutting through it.
Cars ahead are lifting early, some almost feeling their way around. Andrew sees hesitation and treats it as an invitation.
I can hear the rain through your microphone. If you cannot see, slow down. I would prefer an angry owner to a written-off Subaru.
This place was opened in 1927, built around the forests and elevation of the Eiffel. Even in daylight, it gives a driver almost no time to relax. Tonight, there is none at all.
Andrew is into the low teens, and the field ahead is still 3 and 4 cars wide through the spray.
Notice the steering corrections. He is not making one clean input and waiting. He is constantly catching small movements before they become a spin.
Kauppinen's Nissan is directly ahead, Stein's Mustang is arriving behind, and Andrew has nowhere comfortable to place the car.
There is a blue Mustang filling the mirror. Do not fight 3 cars on one piece of road. Andrew, are you listening to me?
Contact! Stein reaches the right rear of the Subaru. Andrew is turned toward the barrier, and half the pack pours through. He has gone from the edge of the top 10 to 15th, and the game has added a penalty as well.
That is the danger of this spray. Stein closes on a car already boxed in by Kaupinen, reaches the rear quarter, and once the Subaru rotates, there is no runoff, only wet grass and steel.
Let us see it again. Andrew has the Nissan ahead, the Mustang behind, and there is the touch that sends him across the road.
From above, Stein's front left arrives at Andrew's right rear. It is a classic rotation point, but in these conditions, the consequence is magnified immediately.
Back to live action, and Andrew has an enormous recovery to begin all over again.
That was Stein. I saw it on the tracker replay, and I have added his name to a list. Now stop collecting penalties and bring my car home.
The response is immediate. Andrew is passing cars again, refusing to let that contact define the lap.
That is important psychologically. After a hit like that, a driver can become tentative. Andrew has chosen the opposite risk. He is attacking before the frustration settles.
The Nordschleife has 73 corners and around 300 meters of elevation change. In this rain, every crest is a question asked at full speed.
And the answer changes each lap. Water runs downhill, gathers in compressions, and crosses the racing line. The driver who remembers yesterday's grip can be punished by today's river.
Police have not entered the circuit, but there is a patrol near the access road. That is all I know, and it is already more than I wanted to know.
Oh, he has lost it again! No contact this time. The rear steps away on the water, and Andrew is facing the wrong direction.
That was throttle and surface together. The car is loaded, the rear tires meet standing water, and the rotation arrives faster than he can unwind the steering.
On the replay, watch how little warning he receives. The Subaru is settled, then suddenly it is not.
This is why the darkness matters. He cannot read the sheen of the water far enough ahead. By the time the headlights reveal it, the tire is already on top of it.
Back live, still ninth, still running, and somehow still attacking.
The wet tire is doing exactly what it should, but no tire can evacuate unlimited water. Speed, load, and depth determine when aquaplaning begins.
Ahead, another car is struggling for traction, and Andrew threads through the spray without lifting out of the fight.
The owners have called twice. I told them the tracker was malfunctioning. It is difficult to maintain that lie while you are doing 200 kilometers an hour.
The old full Nürburgring opened at more than 28 kilometers. The modern Nordschleife is shorter, but at 20.8 kilometers, it remains an immense place to race without support.
Andrew is closing on the next cluster, with Ward, Cherry, and several more cars disappearing and reappearing inside the spray.
The spray also hides relative speed. A driver sees taillights, but cannot easily judge whether the car ahead is braking, coasting, or already spinning.
There is a car sideways ahead. Andrew picks a path through it and gains another place.
Good avoidance. That is the first sensible thing ye have done since stealing, borrowing, the car.
Lap 2 begins, and after 2 spins, contact and a penalty, Andrew is still climbing back toward the front 6.
This is becoming a race of confidence. Some drivers are surviving the rain, Andrew is trying to exploit it. The reward is enormous, but so is the punishment.
The BRZ is now hunting cars that began near the front of the grid. That is a remarkable transformation from 20th place.
Subaru's real BRZ GT300 became the 2021 GT300 champion. It was developed around low weight, balance, and aerodynamic efficiency, qualities that matter when grip is scarce.
And he sends it alongside, late on the brakes, careful on the throttle, another place taken in the rain.
You are approaching the top 5. That does not make this legal, clever, or remotely acceptable.
No fuel use and no tire wear means there is no strategic reason to wait. The only restraint is the driver's judgment, and tonight that is a limited resource.
B. Schwarz began from pole in the Ford GT LM Spec 2 test car. Baldi and Silva have the two Aston Martin DBR9s in the same fight, with Penttinen's Porsche close enough to matter.
The Ford is a Gran Turismo interpretation of a Le Mans-style GT. Carbon fiber bodywork, a supercharged 5.4-liter V8 and mid-engine balance. It has the power for the long straight, but Schwarz still has to deploy it on water.
Andrew is fourth, from last place, through contact, through two separate spins, fourth place at the Nordschleife.
Now the race changes. The cars ahead are not traffic, they are the leaders, and they will defend with the same confidence Andrew has used to attack.
The police patrol has stopped near the outer gate. I do not know whether they are here for you. I would rather not wait to discover it.
Andrew is closing on Schwarz, headlights, spray, and the Canadian BRZ appearing larger with every corner. He is through! Andrew, from 20th on the grid, has taken the lead of the Underground Night League.
That is an extraordinary drive, James, but now he must control the pace. Leading means he finds the standing water first. There are no tail lights ahead to warn him.
First place. Wonderful. The tracker now makes it look as though the owner's car is winning an illegal race. That will be very reassuring to them.
Schwarz is not letting him go. The Ford remains in the spray, waiting for the long straight or the smallest mistake.
And behind them, Baldi, Silva and Penttinen are compressing. The race is beginning to form the same four-car group that may decide the finish.
This is almost impossible to comprehend. Andrew started last, has spun twice, and now he is setting the reference pace in a downpour.
He's fast because he is willing to rotate the car, but that same willingness creates the risk. In these conditions, the boundary between rotation and a spin is nearly invisible.
Schwarz is still there, almost filling Andrew's mirror as they approach another fast change of direction.
Andrew must be patient with the throttle here. The car is loaded and the road falls away. Any standing water will reduce the rear grip immediately.
The Ford closes again. Andrew covers the line, Schwarz follows, and the lead battle is now separated by little more than spray.
Schwarz has the stronger straight-line weapon, while Andrew is creating time through commitment and direction change. Their strengths are completely different.
Behind them, the two Aston Martins and Penttinen's Porsche remain close enough that one mistake could change the entire podium.
Andrew, the owners have opened the live tracker. I am out of explanations. Keep it straight and bring back something recognizable.
Andrew has lost the rear. The leader spins across the wet road with Schwarz right behind, and the entire front group is coming through. Schwarz takes the lead. Baldi, Silva and Penttinen are through, and Andrew is still trying to point the Subaru in the correct direction. Replay. Schwarz fills the mirror. Andrew turns in, and then the BRZ snaps away almost instantly.
The second angle confirms the speed of the rotation, but not a clear impact. This is pressure doing its work, even if the cars never touch.
Back live, Andrew has fallen to 9th and carries another penalty. The podium dream has become a recovery drive once again.
From 1st to 9th, I have no polite words left. The rear is still attached, so use it and recover what you can.
The difficult part now is emotional control. He cannot recover 8 places in one braking zone, especially with a penalty waiting to slow him further.
Andrew is back on the attack, and Cherry's second Ford GT is the next target through the spray. He closes under braking, careful, and the Subaru keeps its nose alongside. Pass completed. Andrew takes another position and immediately looks for the next car.
The penalty costs momentum, but the field is still compressed enough that clean exits can bring him back into the fight. The Nordschleife climbs and descends by roughly 300 meters. That changes not only the corners, but where the water runs and where the driver expects grip.
Ward's Lamborghini and Travis in the Audi are now within reach. 5th place is no longer impossible.
Andrew does not need the podium to prove something tonight. From 20th, after all that damage to his own race, a top 5 finish would still be a serious statement.
That was clean. Do more of that and less of the rotating backwards through Germany.
The rain has not eased. After more than 20 minutes, it is still pounding the circuit, and the final lap is becoming a test of concentration as much as speed.
Fatigue matters here because the lap is so long. A driver cannot reset after a short sequence. The Nordschleife keeps asking questions for more than 8 minutes at a time.
Up front, Schwarz has Baldi, Silva and Penttinen converging. The leader cannot afford even one cautious exit now.
The Ford has the advantage on the long straight, but the two Aston Martins and the Porsche are close enough to use the slipstream. In spray, that advantage comes with almost no view of the braking zone.
Schwarz leads, Baldi second, Silva third, Penttinen fourth, and all four remain inside little more than 2 seconds on the road.
The owner has asked whether the car is wet. I said there was a small leak in the garage roof. Please stop making the lie more expensive.
The two DBR9s are enormous, powerful GT1 machines, while Penttinen's rear-engined Porsche can place its traction differently. 4 cars, 4 approaches to the same flooded road.
Cherry is ahead, Andrew is closing, and there is almost no visibility beyond the Ford's rear wing.
The patrol has moved on from the outer gate. That is the only good news I have. The bad news is, the owners are driving here themselves.
Andrew goes past 6th place, and 5th is directly ahead. There it is! 5th place for Andrew, 3 laps after starting 20th and only minutes after throwing away the lead.
That recovery may be the most mature part of the drive. He did not panic after the second spin. He rebuilt the race 1 car at a time.
Andrew remains 5th, but the 4 cars ahead are beginning to form a single chain of headlights and tail lamps.
Fifth is enough. I repeat, 5th is enough. There is no bonus for returning the car on 3 wheels.
He will hear the words, but he will also see the glow of 4th place ahead. Drivers are not famous for choosing enough when more is visible.
Andrew has stabilized 5th. He cannot see the whole lead battle, but he is close enough that any mistake ahead could still hand him the podium he came to prove he deserved. We leave Andrew in 5th because the victory fight has become irresistible. Schwarz, Baldi, Silva and Penttinen are nose to tail in the rain.
Baldi is close enough to attack, but not close enough to see. He must judge the Fords braking from tail lights distorted by spray and reflection.
Baldi looks alongside. Schwarz holds the line. The Aston stays there, and Silva is waiting for both of them to compromise the exit.
Penttinen is still 4th and still connected. If the first 3 fight, the Porsche can gain more in 1 corner than it has in the previous kilometer.
Schwarz keeps the Ford ahead, but Baldi refuses to disappear. Silva is directly behind, Penttinen directly behind him. 4 cars for one wet ribbon of road.
They are approaching the long final run where power and slipstream matter, but every overtake must still be completed before the final braking zone.
The Aston is gaining in the tow. Baldi moves out, Schwarz answers, and the headlights behind them are closing as well.
Schwarz must choose whether to defend the inside or preserve the line through the final complex. In this rain, one defensive move can cost all the exit speed.
Into the final sequence, Ford first, Aston second, Aston third, Porsche fourth, and nobody has escaped. Baldi is still close enough. Silva is searching behind. Penttinen has not surrendered, and the checkered flag is waiting through the rain.
One clean traction zone for Schwarz, one chance for Baldi. The margin is now measured in confidence, not distance.
Schwarz wins the Underground Night League at the Nürburgring. Baldi follows by barely more than a second, Silva is third, Penttinen fourth, and all 4 are covered by 2.2 seconds. And here comes Andrew, 5th place. From 20th on the grid, through contact, penalties and 2 spins, he finishes only 6.9 seconds behind the winner.
No podium, but no embarrassment either. Andrew led this race on merit, recovered twice, and proved he can be extremely fast when the conditions are at their worst.
Schwarz takes the cryptocurrency and the secret victory. Andrew takes something harder to buy: credibility. From the rain-soaked green hell, good night.